Hi everyone, welcome back again to Spiritual Growth Tarot. I'm Denise, of course. Hope you guys are really doing well, best we can. So anyway, this will be our spiritual growth reading for the week of February 20th through 26th, 2022. And hopefully there'll be some timeless messages to help heal our souls. That's always my intention. But anyway, let me drop the camera down and get this started. Okay, so I'm going to use the Radiant Wise Spirit Tarot by Los Scarabeo. And all the cards are upright, but I'm going to show you something. Okay, so they're all upright. My friend, Jean, or Stano, over at Evolving Spirit, if you go to Facebook, if you're on Facebook, and I understand if you're not, but if you are, she has a spiritual group called Evolving Spirit, and anyone can join and be a part of the group. But anyway, her and I hang out sometimes, and over Zoom. And she showed me how she allows for reversals. She starts out with them upright, and then she goes this way. So this is what I'm going to do. But first, I need to put the intention into the deck. So this is our reading for. I'm going to do 14 cards. Okay, 2 cards for each day, and this will be for us, of course, to see. Like I always intend, whatever it is that we need in order to evolve. So, but anyway, this is how she does it. I thought you guys would love this. She goes like this. Look at that. Don't you just love that? I love spirals. They're one of my favorite things. So, yeah. And then you just stop whenever it feels right. And then the tricky part for me is always getting them to a place where I can shuffle. That was fun. Okay, so what is it that we need to know for this week, for the 20th to the 26th, February 2022? Oops. Okay, there's our first card. When it flips out and flies like that, I gotta take it, right? When it's in my hands, that's another story. But in this case, Sunday. But I'll allow this to just be a message for the whole week as well. It doesn't have to be day by day. It can be an overall message. Monday. Too many reversals, I suppose. Oh, there we go. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Sometimes reversals are good, especially in this position. And actually this way too. Well, it depends. But for spiritual work, straight up with the tower is good. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I feel into Thursday if we're going to go by days. Okay. Okay. Friday. And Saturday feels like it's over here. Okay. All right. Okay, and I can always use an oracle deck as well, if need be. Okay. There we go. If I can line these up. Oh, I guess I should have come in a little bit. There we go. I never know if it's going to cut off. Sometimes what's in my viewfinder and what ends up being uploaded are two different things. Okay, so let me take it day by day first. and we'll see if an overall message comes through. Usually it does. Okay, so Sunday here with the Seven of Pentacles reversed, that has us like reassessing, like the managing all the sustainable issues in our life, right? Like your finances. Like, do I keep using this credit card, or is it time to cut it up and go into some kind of a debt recovery program? Or have I been investing money in places, maybe spending money in areas of my life where I need to reassess that? Because this card can sometimes be about kind of being a little bit, what's the word when you put things off? Procrastinating. Like if you're procrastinating about planning, financial planning, I often would get this card, like things that need to be taken care of. And sometimes it can just be a little bit of a setback. Something you thought that you had been investing in, whether it's a relationship, a doctor, a health, well, I only say that because of the Pentacles. I don't see this card as being a doctor, but that would be more like the King of Cups. Oh, he's over here, reversed. So there's that possibility, I suppose. But, you might be reassessing how to approach the future so that you can be in a place where your investments are panning out. Now, sometimes it's just a card of being impatient. And then other times, this card will come through when there's anxiety over, finances or health. Now, with the Knight of Cups reversed, that brings in that element of, it could be a relationship issue because, well, on one level, it can be self-doubt. Right? And boy, I tell you guys, that on the spiritual level, when it comes to evolving, that is your biggest hurdle. It will always be self-doubt and how we don't trust ourselves and how we, things that nag us and we put it off, or things that we need to address. We won't have our faith in ourselves restored until we address all those little things that bug us, and these could be, these Seven Pentacles could be like 7 little areas of our lives, on the physical level. Like one could be health, one could be money, one could be clutter around the house, one could be clutter in the garage, another one could be organizing your schedule. And then the other two, these could be like kids and family, like all those, the physical nuts and bolts of daily life could be weighing down on your creativity and your faith in yourself. So whatever it is you need to do in order to get things going in the right way again, go for it, because the Knight of Cups is very, it's a card of engagement on the emotional, on the feeling levels, on the heart levels. So if you can get yourself reoriented in a way that you see it as a creative endeavor to, get your life organized perfectly, even though it's going to take a lot of time, it does. It's like cleaning out closets. And some people, you might be doing that because you might be headed towards much warmer weather than I am here. Like it's, I always do that ridiculous thing of like, moving winter clothes out of one closet, thinking I can bring summer clothes in. And then it's like, then you have another, we have another cold flash come through. It's like, oh, did it too soon again? Like, when will I ever learn, right? Every year. But now that I'm older, I've given away lots of clothes that I just kind of wear the same things, and I have a few things if I need to go out. I'm just like, I kind of don't care anymore. So closet space has been restored. But anyway, it's a process, right? And there's work and emotional energy that has to be let go of, emotional attachments that have to be let go of in order to get to that place where your investments pay off and you're not worried about it, and it's not bugging you in the background. This way, it's bugging you in the background. When there's anxiety, usually, now I would never say this as just a hands down approach. Like I would never say this about depression or anything, any issue. But usually, we have low levels of anxiety because there's something that we haven't taken care of in the past, or we're in relationships with people who are not really safe to trust, or we are, like where their beliefs are completely opposite of what would bring in safety and security for you. Like if you're with the wrong guy, that kind of thing, or with the wrong woman, and you've got this little niggly kind of wondering about that you've been putting off, these kind of cards will come through. So I'm not sure what it is for each one of you, but facing, not doubting yourself anymore and facing those little things that are bugging you will turn it all around. So whether or not this is Sunday, this would be good for like any issue that's presenting anxiety. And then on other levels too, sometimes anxiety is just unprocessed fear that's you don't need to be in fear about, things you don't need to be afraid of. But the key is to always face the fears, and then you have more self-trust, right? Because facing fears means that you're facing all those feelings that come up. And once you face them, they're not there bugging you anymore, because they were only there because you needed to face the fear, okay? So, okay, so then whether or not this is Monday, what the cards are saying here is to release your burdens with the Ten of Wands reversed. This is a card of like, maybe you can finally see the ground because you're dropping the burdens. It can be about letting go of oppression. This can be a card of stress relief. So this is excellent, together. With the Six of Cups, it can be the stress relief that is dropped could be that you were trying to hold things together from the past. And this can be, when the Six of Cups comes through reversed, it's my childhood wounding card. It's my trauma from past lives. It's my trauma from childhood that, is brought in from a past life and we're still trying to process it through. But when you do that deep emotional work, the stress is gone. The stress that you've been holding, like trying to hold things together. But remember, we hold things together from the past because we're still in survival. So never, ever, ever judge yourself badly for having not totally processed something through yet, because it might not be appropriate for you to completely let go of it until you want to make sure you're out of survival mode. And then once you do, once you are out of survival mode, like imagine a, abusive relationship, like an abusive husband. You guys, the stress is so bad that you can't focus on anything other than just daily little bits of survival. And then the abused wife, or the other way around, could be the abused husband. That happens too. The abused one finally leaves and frees themselves and the children, right? Then the real deeper healing begins. First, it's like, you have to like put the fire out in the house, or you have to get the stitches, you have to reset the broken bones. You have, all the pain of getting to a safer place, and then the deep soul work can begin. Which, my heart goes out to you, if that's if that's something that you're going through. Drop it in the comments. We will definitely send you lots of supportive, positive, loving energy to get you through it. And if you're in a situation like that and you're needing help, there are so many, almost, I would say every county and every state has, those types of hotlines, and they have their system set up in court to protect you. At least that was my experience in California when I worked with those types of people. When I went through one situation myself, it was like, oh yeah, they had it down. It was like, oh, and then they had tons of support too, as far as things to read, and if you needed therapy, I mean, they had everything. But it depends on your state. So I'm moving into, if this is Tuesday, with the Two of Swords reversed, there can be some denial, there can be some indecision, there can be something that's kind of confusing, and you're not there yet, and you can't figure out what the right choice would be. It can be that for now there is not a right choice, and you're trying to negotiate reality with the ups and downs of life and the money situation, and we're kind of in a holding pattern. That can be, and especially if this has to do with like healing from the past, and like I was saying before, extricating yourself from an abusive situation that mirrors your childhood. Oh goodness, literally like freeing your spirit from the past. Yeah. Sometimes this card can just be, if it's not an abusive situation, another more simple, before I go further here, another more simple explanation of these two cards could be that it's time to move on, and being stuck in the past because of your childhood is something that you need to be released from. That when you do that work, then you'll be free. Sometimes too, this card can be moving, well, not necessarily moving like the house that you're in alone, but more moving house alone, but more like moving out of your family home. And doing so, if you've been living with your family under this burden, then the moving will be free. The moving will free you up on the spiritual level. Because the wands to me represent spirit a lot. Of course, they all represent spirit, but we've got the powerful life force that comes through the wands, and the freedom of that. So again, back to the Two of Swords. So everything I said before applies, but also this can be fears about, how do I make it? How do I get the money and juggle it? Financial fears can be here. It can be the fear of confrontation with another person who holds the purse strings. It can be the Two of Pentacles. It can be this fear of being in struggle. If you have no reason to have those fears, just let it go. Just let them go so that they don't create, reality for you. It's go with that old acronym, false evidence appearing real, for fear, and let it go. If that's the case for you, if you have nothing to worry about, but you're just thinking, oh my goodness, inflation, right? Yeah, that's right. We all need to tighten our belt a little bit. And less is more is the message here. But then also detaching from fears, detaching from confusion, and negotiating with life in a way where you can keep yourself balanced is really key. Like don't have a lot of credit card debt. If you do, start bringing that down best you can, because it'll free you up from those burdens that will just, create problems in the future. But if you're having to use your credit cards in order to survive right now, I understand that. And if that's the case, then just don't worry about it for a while, but do your best to keep it down, to keep it in balance, to juggle the finances. Do your best to not buy things that you don't really need. And then that'll free up the stress too. But then the middle here, the Queen of Pentacles is that place where you have so much, where you have protective, motherly, physical, love and resources. This is the epitome of feminine stability, where you can receive everything that you need, especially if you break through the false self and allow your real self to come through. Even though it could be a battle, and even though it could be kind of confusing because you're not sure about which way to go, and can I handle just being, if I just put myself out there and just be the real me, can I take care of myself? Can I earn a living just being myself? Of course you can. In fact, that's what all of life is, in collaboration for you. So whatever it is that you would love doing for a living, keep going towards that, even if you feel like, oh, there might be a lot of stiff competition, and maybe I don't know how to speak the way that I need to in order to create that. Maybe I'm afraid of speaking up maybe I need to borrow money from my mom or my grandma, and I'm not sure what to say because I'm afraid that, she'll think less of me. Let that go. Let that go. If all of that, or if all of these cards applied to this point, just let that go, because your mom and your grandparents love you, and they'll, I'm sure, do the best they can, even if it's nothing other than just some really good ideas and reminding you of your gifts that can help you let go of this false self. On the spiritual level, that's how I see the Tower. On a mundane level, if we want to go that route, this can be a card of making a big change and destroying all of this that was a problem in the past. But I love having the Queen of Pentacles up at the top, because that's what this top is being blown open to receive all of this stability and support in the financial and physical realms, in the health realms. It's all of it. So, wow. It's a card of reconstruction. But when I do these weekly readings, and if you do daily readings for yourself and you get this card, it's always the meanings are less, than something. They're not as significant as if you were doing, like, let's say you only do one tarot reading on yourself every 6 months or a year, and you get the Tower card, then you're going to be making some big changes in life. And then you look at the other cards around it to see what it's about. But you intuitively, I'm sure you would know already, like, is it moving house, or is it buying a different car, selling your car, things like that. Or making those big internal changes so that your real self shines through. So moving forward, the Five of Wands can be a struggle card, can be a competition card, trying to be on top, like top dog. But on the spiritual level, it's my card to remind me that the only real struggle I should be in life is to keep my heart open. And the Page of Wands, when it comes through reversed, it can be having a hard time finding your voice and speaking up, because it's my, card of oration, so to speak, literally. But when it's reversed, it can be that, especially with this here, you can be worried about being dominated by someone. And that's especially up here with this Emperor reversed. There are a lot of cards here that speak to, no, not with her, but childhood abuse. And trying to clear that out. And even look at this, man. We have 2 kings reversed, the 5 of Swords reversed, deep inner conflicts, and then we have with the Emperor reversed, as the Emperor rules all the kings. Oh goodness. Okay, so this to me feels like the struggle to find your inner voice. That could blow everything up, but man, it can bring you into this place where you're honoring your body, honoring your real needs, and opening up to all types of feminine support to help you get through it. Because she's about receiving, and she's got the goods. So you have the goods inside of you. And you'll find your voice as you work your way through it. This 5 of Wands possibly could just be the, that spiritual effort that it takes to go through the conflicts and the challenges. And it can even be kind of, well, I wouldn't say exciting in a good way, but it's where you free up your life force when you do that deep inner work. Now with the Emperor here reversed, this is like, the tyrant type of energy. This is somebody with a big overblown narcissistic ego who's on a power trip. So stay away from those types of people. And if this is somebody that you're trying to heal from, that's the deep inner work. And it's always been so interesting to me. Well, it makes perfect sense, but those of us who are empaths and very sensitive and caring and loving, we will almost always pair up with someone like this in order to come into our strength, in order to stand up for ourselves. Because having a relationship with someone like this, or even a cheater like this over here, or like the King of Wands, or a manipulator here, this will help us find our true strength within, because we will have to get away from these types of people. But meanwhile, before we get away from them, we will understand all the ways that they manipulate, like how they try to control your finances, how they try to control your, they pull the heartstrings by trying to take your kids away from you, or don't care about the kids and you take them, like that type of thing. But they won't pay their fair share in child support, right? That's what these cards are about here. So these are some of those issues. Now, with this King of Wands here reversed, at the least, this could be somebody who's really indecisive, somebody who's prejudiced. This could be the dad, because the Emperor is the dad card. Empress is the mom. These two, the list spells racism, prejudice. I don't know what it was like for you growing up, but this could be somebody who's really stubborn and severe and just, just ruthless and just a bear to be around. And you go through life kind of like, oh, don't poke the bear, don't say anything, be quiet or he'll hurt us, right? That kind of thing. So it could be that this is, on a spiritual level for us, we might be witnessing some of these things in the political sphere that might be healing for us because something will break through. But I'm feeling it more like on a heart level. It has to do with, those of you out there that still need to heal any places in your childhood where you were abused. And it doesn't have to be a man, but it would be that type of energy where they had control. They were bigger, they were scary. They were just ruthless to get their own way. And then with the 5 of Swords reversed, this is actually a card that's good to have reversed because it brings in a resolution And I always look at it as like the resolution of your deepest inner conflict. Because, you know, this way, straight up, it's a card of winner versus loser type of mentality. You know, you can see the guy's got all the swords. They threw theirs down and walked away, but he doesn't have any friends, right? Doesn't that kind of look like Donald Trump's hair a little bit? And this is his mentality. This is him. And all of these cards here do display, I mean, all of these actually are like him. So maybe we're going to see something happen this week, and it's going to be healing for us because there's no more of this and there's a resolution. But back to us individually, the Five of Swords comes through when there's peace, when there's some communication. Sometimes it's revenge, though. That's one of the tricky things with this card, and especially with these negative cards around here. So this could be, you know, this could be news about Trump this next week, even though it shouldn't be here in our own spiritual reading. But, you know, when we see justice, it will be healing for us. When we see the truth completely out there, and other people are having to, you know, to deal with it and take that in, we're going to have to pray for them, but it's also going to be healing because nothing's hidden anymore. And that's what this card is about. It brings in a weird kind of peace, even though, you know, nobody likes to go through any abusive situations. But when you come to a place where you've had your own courage and strength come through, and it's shaken you to the core, but the real you has come through. All of this other stuff is like, wow, you know, it's like, talk about earning your stripes, right? And then the King of Cups reversed, it's as bad as these two. It's just that this is on the heartstrings level. It's the manipulation, you know. This would be like oh, please don't leave me. I'll never hurt you again. It's like, no, run. Run. Because he's still a cheater. He's still, you know, not going to be tolerant. There's still racism, rampant racism in these cards, right? Yeah. Yeah. What a challenge. So, okay. I'm going to let go of this, and did I? Yeah, I didn't. I didn't grab the two off the bottom to do any more on that, so I have to just let it go. But let's do an oracle spread, and let's use this one. What's the name of it? It's Ethany's The Awakened Soul, and if you like it, you just go to ethany.com right there. It's a beautiful deck. It's got the silver gilding around the edges. Make sure they're all upright. Yeah, okay. So only for us, no politics. Just for you guys, only. What would best support you this week? What is it that you need to know for this week? Okay. Sovereignty. Yeah, boy, that goes with those other cards. Forgiveness. Oh. Leadership. Looks like Oprah. Perspective. And right here, the sun. In simplicity, oh yeah, that's so true. Bringing through the simple truth in life is always the key. Let me bring them up a little bit. And creating simplicity in your life is very, very, very healing. At least it is for me. Okay, so our theme here is to be in your leadership. Being the leader of your own life. And like my dear friend over at Freebird Spirit, Debbie says, always lead with love. Loving yourself helps you. First, we have to learn how to love ourselves before we can love anyone else truly. And in our leadership, we will teach people how to respect us and how to treat us. And that brings in our sovereignty. Wow. I don't know who these powerful women of justice are here, but I can see it in the images. It's people that fought for justice. Probably says it in the book. If I wasn't so lazy, I'd pop open the book and see who these people are, but no, not doing that. There are so many, right? This one looks kind of like a pioneer on, well, no, it's her hair. It's not like a pioneer cap, it's her hair. But I'm thinking a judicial person, you know, judge, attorney, whatever. This person looks like an actual warrior leader, and this one, you know, she's got the bow and arrow. There's got to be a bow over here. The arrows are back here. She's a fighter. I have a part of a dog down here. So protection and all the different ways. I suppose we have, you know, our judicial branches, and then we have, I suppose this could be like the two military branches. This could be, this person, this woman here could be someone in a leadership position. But that's how we bring in our sovereignty. We're in our authority, and we have the legal system to protect us, and we're willing to fight and stand up in order to protect ourselves that way. This is a really important, this is what we're all going through, and especially witnessing, you know, this Pluto return that the USA is going through, but Pluto in Capricorn is happening all over the world. So the exposure of the corruption is happening all over the world. Yeah, okay, and then forgiveness, oh my goodness, well, once you're leading your life, you know, leading your own life, at some point we do have to notice how going into forgiveness doesn't mean you forget, doesn't mean you let anybody get away with anything. You still stand up for yourself, right? You still go through the judicial processes to stand up for yourself. Boy, aren't these cards are like mirroring the tarot cards, aren't they? You still stand up for yourself. You still do everything you can to fight for justice. But at some point, when you can, you know, when you're ready, not in the beginning. In the beginning, it's good to hold on to your anger because it helps you set the boundaries. You know, those healthy boundaries need to be set first in order to protect yourself. But once that happens, at some point in your journey, forgiveness helps free up your heart. And it frees up abundance in your life too, which is really cool. And then, of course, the leadership we've spoken about. And then perspective. Oh, yeah, this looks to me like creating your brand new life from a whole new perspective because you see life in a whole new way with all those beautiful colors. Oh, I love that. And, of course, then simplicity comes through. And it becomes much more easy to manage your life because all that stress is gone from the past. And it works through in layers. You know, there's always that spiraling in to, you know, to get to that deeper truth. But as you do, you're creating more simplicity in your life. And it could be that simplicity is the goal, right? Maybe the message here is coming. You'll be in your leadership when you have the perspective to try and just get into the simple truth in your life. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's it. Thanks, you guys. Take good care. Sending you big hugs. Bye.